Let's be honest, this is the kind of vehicle that a lot of people should have bought when they were all going crazy buying big SUVs. Because it's got all the space you need, great fuel efficiency, reliable. I mean, Subaru is one of the only car companies that's actually up in down times. So
and where should we go with this one?
This vehicle here, this is where you want to take to like the Sasquatch Music Festival or Bonnaroo or something like that. This is where you want to go have some fun.
And then after you pay your Santa Monica parking ticket, where do you want to go in this Porsche Panamera? You like this for a road trip?
Well, you know, if you're going to take a road trip up to Monterey.
They're asking, I don't know how, we've paid for parking. I have receipts, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Friendly Santa Monica. Okay, I'm sorry, where are we going?
We can afford the Porsche, we can afford the ticket. Well, you know, Santa Monica, what are you going to do?
There you go. I got
so let's say we're going to roll up to Monterey to see the auto show.
Okay.
The Concours. This is the way to
I'll
ride.
take that.
Here we go.
Thank you.
There we go.
Unbelievable. All right. I'm sorry. You were saying?
Yeah. So
we're desperate for money, honey. Let me see how much this is. $50. That's what they do. That's about right. Okay.
We're just getting started here.
That's okay. There you go. Go ahead.
So anyway, we're going.
KTLA's got this. We appreciate you coming out.
Hey, well,
publicizing Santa Monica.
That's $500.
We're saving money for customers by showing the right cars, but then we got to spend money.
All right.
Yes, so now we're going to Monterey. We're going to the Concours d'Elegance. This is the vehicle to take because you arrive in style, then you see the style vehicles, and then you go home in style. So comfortable too.
Now, here, let us give you, yes, ma'am.
Do a favor, go talk to that traffic officer real quick because she doesn't understand that you're doing a segment and you have paid for your care.
She does understand. She does understand. Well, let me. All right.
She's on number 3.
Ma'am, Michaela Pereira wants to know that we're on the air.
Ma'am.
Yes, you are on camera. We're on live TV. We asked you to wait a few minutes. All right, now you have to give me the tickets. I'm the. Thank you.
Are you getting a ticket for each one of the cars?
Yeah. Well, yes, Jason Ball, our fabulous news director, gave me money to pay for parking, which is in our van.
You're gonna have to ask
we have parking paid for. But you got that right. We're gonna have to ask for some more. Wait, let me give you some information.
Hey, folks, you too can visit the city of Santa Monica.
It's a very friendly place.
All right, now let me give you some information while she continues to write with a ticket book, James.
I'm doing a documentary film about the abuse of the parking enforcement in the city of Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah?
How does that make you feel? You just got a ticket and you have money still on your meter, right?
Yeah.
Why are you getting a ticket then?
I don't know, but I'll dispute it.
Do you like this, getting tickets all the time? Well, how does it make you feel?
I think it's fine.
You're all right with
I'll pay
it?
for it.
Really? Well, see, I'm different
I'll
because
dispute it.
that's what I do too, but it's a different story. Like what's happened to me is that they're being dishonest.
Right.
Like I didn't do anything. Like I moved my car before they were there.
Oh, well, this is my fault. This is for my expired tag.
Expired tag.
Which is the truth.
Which you're not supposed to park on the public streets. But even still, doesn't it bother you a little bit? Like all the fees that you have to pay?
It bothers me that I haven't gone to the DMV.
Really?
That's what bothers me.
So you're just playing like a good citizen and doing you know paying your fees and whatever.
I think so.
Really?
I deserve it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little different.
This one I deserve.
Okay, I'm a little different though.
I thought it was
for the meter.
Yeah, but it's not.
But you still pay for the meter and you still get a ticket though. That sucks.
Yeah, but I shouldn't be driving with expired tags. So I'm
All right.
in the wrong.
All right.
All right.
My name's Kevin.
Carry on.
Kevin, by the way, and
Thank you.
hopefully I'll have this done in a few months or so.
Kick ass.
All right, take care.
Lady is making an accusation that I put money in this meter. I'm walking by and watching the fraudulent parking enforcement, as I've told you guys before. This is absolutely ridiculous. This woman is making an accusation that I walked by and I put money in this meter. Do you have video, sir, in your store?
No, I
don't. Sir, do you have video? She's making an accusation that I'm paying money in the meter. That ain't what this is about. She's saying that he didn't pay his money, that I put money in his meter. All right, what's for? Tell me your name.
It's Farlow Brown.
Farlow Brown.
Farlough.
I'm Kevin Perteete.
That makes you
Kevin, Kevin Perteete is my name. And I want you to record that is absolutely fraudulent activity, that you are making an accusation to me. That you are making an accusation to me that I put money in the meter when I didn't.
I didn't make an accusation. I said it was possible you could have.
I didn't, but his meter is not...
There was no money in the meter when I punch in the plate.
Okay, but when you came up here, there was something in there.
Let me go. I'm asking you to let me walk to my car.
I'm not stopping you.
Thank you. Get out of my space.
Did I hold you? Ma'am, I'm in a public street on a public road. Did I touch you? You people have lost.
And then lastly, I'm still fighting the city about my ticket that they gave me incorrectly. Today I went to my mailbox and in there was a letter, because I've been fighting and telling them to dismiss the ticket under the UCC code, and this is what they sent to me. They said, this letter is in reply to your request for an administrative hearing for citation listed below. I never once requested or asked for an administrative hearing. I simply wrote on there my disclaimer, and they're supposed to dismiss the ticket. Now, that $63 ticket has nearly tripled, and they're trying to collect $175 for a $63 ticket. This is what I'm talking about, abuse. To the city of Los Angeles, you'll never collect this money from me, ever. Hey guys, I'm back with my second parking movie entitled Parking Tyranny Part 2, It Continues. Well, it's been 5 years since I made the last movie, and to be honest with you, not much has changed as far as the parking abuse that I've been seeing over the last, 10 years. Now, there has been some good things going on. I have been out there fighting and getting red zones changed back to free parking, and I go around the city and look and see and measure it and get back to them and tell them why is this red, and they investigate it and they change it back. I currently have a few other areas right now that are pending that they're looking at, so that's a good thing. When I had my meeting with the city, I met with Deputy Chief Brian Hale. He's now the actual chief, and you know, changes like that. But as far as the abuse, I haven't seen much of a change. Now, you remember on the last part of my movie, I told you I got a ticket for $175 is what it had ended up doubling or tripling to. And I told you there was no way in hell that the city would ever collect that on me. Well, I was right. I got a dismissal letter on that ticket. I beat it on 9/30/2013. And this is what it says. Thank you for your inquiry concerning the citation listed below. We have reviewed your claim and found it to be valid. Therefore, your citation is being permanently dismissed. No further action on your part is required. And that's the actual citation, you know, so you know I'm not lying to you. Date and the citation number is here, so forth. Now, not only that, I got another ticket just right around the same time, a month later, dated 10/23. I beat that one too. So, you know, I'm out there fighting, being persistent, and that's what you all should be doing too, because it's gone too far. These tickets are too much. They're over aggressive. They're lying to us about giving you tickets. So we got to stand up and fight. So I'm going to go back and review a lot of the things that I did 5 years ago and telling them they need to change or improve on, and let's see what they've done. And like I said, I don't think it's been much. But this time around, I'm going to be much harder on them than before. Because the first time we met, they were like, you know, they wouldn't let me film. They were asking, you know, they wanted to know who I was, and I wanted to know who they were. So I agreed not to film, but not this time. So anyway, stay tuned. Journey with me through Parking Tyranny 2. It continues. Peace. As I said before, I caught this parking enforcer giving a bogus ticket to a gentleman who didn't deserve it because he still had money in his meter. So, as I said, all hell broke loose and we got into it. So I ended up calling the parking enforcement to complain about it, and soon after, a Sergeant Marsh contacted me by email and told me how to file an email complaint form, and that was on 7/7/2016. After talking to Sergeant Marsh for 3 months, on 9/13, or almost 3 months, on 9/13/2016, I find out that he never received my complaint. So I mailed it again, and he didn't receive it again. On 11/3/2016, a Lieutenant Vasquez took over and asked me to mail my complaint to her along with the video, and I did. And she never got it. On 11/15/2016, I went to the post office where I mailed all this stuff from, and I talked to the manager, and they printed out a delivery sheet for me to show that the parking enforcement received my packages and complaint, but they returned it back to them saying insufficient address. So on 11/22, I wanted to know why. Why was my video and complaint returned? What's going on? So I talked to Lieutenant Vasquez about it, and she said she didn't know. And then she said, look, why don't you personally come down and drop it off to me at my office in downtown LA? I didn't live very far away from there, so I decided, yes, let's do that. So on 11/22/2016, I did just that. I asked her, could I film? And she said, no, I had to go through the protocols for all of that. So I did it. On 11/28/2016, I was now told that a Sergeant Rochelle Puckett was in charge of the case and to call her on 11/28/2016 at 10 a.m. I did, and she said that they will investigate and a deputy chief will send me a letter with the outcome. She told me it would take about 3 months. So on 1/9/2017, I checked and called, and they said that they are still investigating, And then I called again on 3/13/2017 and was told the same thing. On 5/17/2017, I received a letter that was dated 4/26/2017 that was sent to me finally, and it revealed that I was right. That officer was engaged in fraud. And I want to read that to you. It's right here in the letter, in the highlighted. And this is what it said. It is determined that there was a violation of departmental policy and appropriate disciplinary measures have been taken. Now, let me explain something. First of all, this whole process took 10 months to complete. It's just too long. This wasn't my ticket. I was helping someone else. And of course, for the movie's sake, I stuck it out because most people would not have gone through 10 months of their time trying to get a ticket dismissed. But I think that was all a ploy and part of the game that they play with us. And as I told you before, it took months and months for them. They kept losing my paperwork and saying that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I do believe the post office when they said that they kept returning it and saying insufficient address when I had the correct address. So that tells you a lot. But what really bothers me the most is not even that. It's what they said to me about the disciplinary action that they took against her, or what they didn't say. I asked them what happened to her, and they told me that by law that they couldn't tell me because it's a public employee's file or something to that effect, and that they can't release the disciplinary actions of city employees. So my question was, so how do I know she got just punishment? They probably just slapped her on the wrist and suspended her for a day or something. That's where the problem is. We as citizens have a right to know when someone's caught in fraud and they're supposedly representing us or working for the city. We ought to be able to know what the disciplinary action is against them, and them being fired or not, or suspended, or whatever it is. Because how do we know that that was a just punishment for what she did?
Tonight, a CBS 2 News exclusive investigation has found City of LA parking officers issuing tickets that should not have been written, perhaps thousands of tickets over the past year. We'll show you how to find out if your ticket is on the list. But first, investigative reporter David Goldstein caught the city red-handed.
He's ticketing what looks like the black Oldsmobile Cutlass.
We caught LA parking officers writing ticket.
This car's getting ticketed now.
After ticket.
Parking enforcement, ticketing.
After ticket, hitting drivers each time with a $73 fine.
It's unfair, really unfair and really bad.
But we found her ticket and potentially thousands of others should never have been issued.
These are 5 people that got tickets that shouldn't have gotten them.
Sir, to my knowledge, I had no idea.
In a moment, we'll tell you how to find out if your ticket is on the list. They're all street cleaning violations, no parking on certain days of the week. More than 620,000 of these tickets have been issued in LA since December 1st of last year, totaling more than $45 million in initial fines. But after residents complained they were being ticketed on street cleaning days, even though the sweeper never showed up, the mayor promised he would change all that.
Later today, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti will launch a new parking enforcement website.
Last December, the city launched this website, updated every day. It shows routes with relaxed parking enforcement because the sweeper was canceled, meaning no tickets would be issued. But Mr. Mayor, we found that's not the case.
Okay, just put the ticket on the windshield.
On this day, we watched an officer ticket this BMW, even though it was parked in a relaxed enforcement route. $73 for no parking street cleaning, a ticket that shouldn't have been issued.
He just took the ticket out. I think he just placed it there.
Another day, we found the same thing. Windshields filled with tickets, like this one on Maria's car.
It's $73 that can go towards my kids' education and
Now I gotta pay it to the city. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he just ticketed 1, 2, 3 cars.
We found it over and over. To be honest, most people didn't know about relaxed enforcement and thought they were caught red-handed until we told them.
This is it.
Like Katie Donahue.
I don't think it's fair. They're preying on the citizens' lack of knowledge about this.
And it seems the department's lack of knowledge as well.
Hey, Officer David Goldstein with Channel 2. This is a relaxed parking zone today. Did you know that? You've been writing tickets. We saw you writing tickets just now. This is a relaxed parking area. This is inside the zone. Did you know that?
Let me check that out.
This officer decided to check it out only after we confronted her and after she already had issued a ticket in the so-called relaxed parking zone.
How come you wouldn't know that? You've been writing tickets. These tickets.
No, I actually just got here, sir.
But minutes earlier, we saw her issue this $73 ticket. Now she got on her radio to see if what I told her was true.
What do you think, officer?
Yes.
It is a relaxed parking area. So you were about to write this person up. This person would never have known that, right?
Have a good day.
But we've seen you writing bogus tickets.
We also caught this traffic officer issuing 5 tickets on one day. He also said he didn't know.
You wrote 5 tickets, and it was a relaxed parking day.
That's because they didn't tell us.
But 5 people got tickets.
I didn't know.
These tickets were given out in error.
Yes.
But LADOT Chief Greg Savelli says he has no idea how many were issued.
Some have.
Some have. A lot of them may have, right? You don't know.
I don't know.
The problem, he says, stems from street services. They don't get the word to DOT until it's too late. But he stopped short of committing to refund everyone's money.
We can certainly do that.
Well, why wouldn't you do it?
Because
you're giving people tickets improperly.
Well, because that's why we're here today. You're making us aware of a flaw in the system, and we're more than willing to look at these flaws and try to fix them.
I've said, make this right, period.
The mayor was much more blunt.
Well, that is absolutely unacceptable. I can't tell you how upset I was to hear that, and thanks to your reporting, people who got those tickets are going to get a refund, and it's going to stop, period.
The Department of Transportation now says they're trying to determine how many citations were issued in error from December 1st of last year when the program began. Those citations will be dismissed and refunds will be issued to those who have already paid. And because of our investigation, Street Services says they'll get the word out earlier so officers aren't issuing tickets to innocent motorists.
That was an improper ticket you were about to write.
David Goldstein, CBS 2 News.
If you want to find out about your ticket, go to our website, cbsla.com. We have a listing of all the areas where the traffic officers shouldn't have been issuing tickets, plus a link to the city's relaxed parking website.
So as I said before, the problems continue. These are considered over-the-line tickets. This gentleman right here is in the red a little bit, so they gave him a ticket for it. But when you look at the lines, he's actually within the lines. So I find it very unfair with what they've done with this person, with this car. Now this next car, he's over the lines too. Money's in the meter, but they still give him a ticket. Now, is it really that big of a deal to give him a ticket for being that little bit over the line? There is a buffer in between his car and the next car. They have it red right there, as you can see. And by no means is he blocking or hindering the car in front of him who parks too. So I don't know. I just don't see that that's a real big deal. You could put a warning on there, but as long as you're not blocking traffic or hindering anyone, what's the big deal? I just don't understand that. So next is the a car, another one that's over the line, and same things. You know, it's like, why did they deserve a $58 or $68 ticket, whatever it is, I forget, just simply by being over the line a little bit? The money's still in the meter. They're still getting paid. I just can't figure this out. And I've brought this to the attention of the city, but to no avail. So it just continues. And then the next one here is in Hollywood. And what's happening here is this is free parking. And there's a spot there barely for 2 cars. And I've talked to them and I've asked them to please try to, take away a couple feet. And I actually met with Brandon and Dejanay, who work for LADOT, Los Angeles Department of Transportation. Looking at this, it just makes no sense. And they're telling me that the 2 feet would make a difference as far as the parking goes right here, but I don't see it. He's just a little bit in the red, so look at that. Does that deserve a $68 ticket? I don't think so. So, and then this next car is pretty interesting. He's in the parking spot actually legally, but they have it where the line says a little bit red right there, you know, behind this FedEx truck. But he's not blocking anything. You see, he's within that parking spot. What happened here is that there's a wall there, or a parking attendant little shed that they put up. At one time, yes, that would be in the way, but not anymore. So either make it a parking spot or take away the line so people don't get confused on it, because he's not blocking any traffic. You can see he's right even with that pole and where the parking attendant little building right there is. So he's not blocking traffic or hindering anything. So, you know, I just don't get it. Why give him a ticket? You know, make the spot, you know, parking. This is really crazy. I happened to catch 2 cars that were identically parked 3 feet from the curb, which is, yes, a place where you can get a ticket. You know, you're not supposed to be 3 feet away from the curb. But those cars are both within the lines of the, you know, from the street, where they're not like in the street. See that? Look how even he is with that. And cars can go by, and I'll show you that in a moment, freely without being, you know, hindered. But only the blue car got the ticket. This black Toyota van here didn't get a ticket. And it's exactly the same positioning as this blue car right here. Look at that. But he got the ticket. But when you look at it, like I said, he's not blocking anyone or causing any hindrance in the street, because the cars go by just fine. And you'll see that in a second here in the picture. You see that? Look at that. Is that really a problem? I don't think so. So when you look at it, here you go. There's a car going by. Is it plenty of room for that car to drive by? Of course there is. So why give him a ticket? Look at this. He's just even with the line. So that's just one other area that, you know, I'm complaining about and trying to get them to relax on. Now this next clip is at a very high profile client's house in which I was working. On the left side, as you see, cars are parked a little bit in the street. We got tickets for our cars because what ended up happening was we were supposed to keep all the cars on the property, but there were more people than they had told us. So we ended up having to park cars up on the street. This is in the city of Malibu, actually right down by the ocean. Now, there's a sign on the street there that you can't park the cars below the sign. But it made no sense, because when you parked there, you were completely off the street and you weren't blocking a driveway. This is the scene right here, see, where the white car is, or SUV. Well, below that sign, it's illegal parking. Anything above it is legal. But look at how you're off the street completely. You're not blocking traffic once again or anything. So what ended up happening was my boss went up there to look at a car or something, and he saw a sheriff in the driving by. And the sheriff didn't say anything to him. And he came back down and told me. And then I had to go up there again after parking another car, and there were tickets on all the cars below that sign. And I went down there and I told him, and he said, "What the heck? That sheriff was there when I was there. Why didn't he stop me and say to me that, you know, hey, you can't park these cars here. It's illegal parking." So, you know, that wasn't right. And what ended up happening is I ended up fighting with the city of Malibu for 1 year exactly over these tickets. Now you see right here how it's completely off of the street. How is that illegal? Makes no sense, right? So as I'm fighting with the city of Malibu, I'm asking them, why did you guys do this? What's the point? And the person who was researching it was just coming up with everything. Mr. Perteete, I really don't know. Let me see what I can do and find out. Well, at one time in the 90s, I think that was a busy street, and that's a turnway or kind of a curb there, and it's a site issue. He really didn't know. He didn't have an answer for me for the real reason why, because that street was very slow, very few cars. So there's no excuse for it. And you see that right there? There's absolutely no reason for that car, to be getting a ticket. It's off the street. There's nothing blind about anything. You look and then you go off and you drive. So we ended up fighting, like I said, I did for a year for my company, to no avail, of course. And I even pointed out to them how unfair this was, and especially since the neighbors were on golf carts in the streets. I don't care, but the law says that if you drive a golf cart on the street, you must have license plates on it. They were driving golf carts around on these streets without the license plates. That's illegal. Why then were the cops bothering us and not issuing tickets to them for a clear violation? All we're trying to do is work. So that's what goes on. So going back to Parking Tyranny 1, my first movie, this is down by LAX on Vicksburg Avenue and 98th Street. So this was a lot of free parking down here. And at the time I did the movie, or the first movie, I was showing that there were some red that needed to be taken up. And then there were some issues with the signs only allowing people to park, during the day and so forth. So what ended up happening was I decided to, investigate it a little more and find out why you couldn't just park there for the legal 3 days that you could park. As you can see here, it's wide open parking. It was so much open, free parking, and it was great. But the catch was you had to move your car daily at 1:30 a.m. and you couldn't park there until 6 a.m. the next morning. So looking at all of this, I wanted to change it to just wide open parking without any restrictions. So what ended up happening is I went back down there like a year later, same exact spot, and guess what? Lo and behold, it got worse. All of this parking now is metered. I counted. There were 108 or 9 meters that they had placed now where it was wide open free parking. So what I did was I called the city to find out why. This is what I was told, that all the hotels in that area were complaining about the free parking and that homeless people and so forth were back there parking, and it was bothering their business. Because in the front is Century Boulevard, and that's the entrance to most of the big hotels. So this is the backside. And I don't buy it, because in the backside, people, they didn't go out that way. They went out on the Century Boulevard way, because that's where all the food places and so forth, different whatever entertainments and so forth were. So I went by a few of the hotels and called, and I asked them what happened. And they said that they got together and got a petition to make all this metered parking so that they could run off the riffraff. So, in their own words. So that's what ended up happening. So we lost all this parking, and now they have to pay to park at a meter for a very limited time. So here at the UPS complex in downtown LA, they have this red right here. It used to be a gray curb, which means you could park there. And the other side also, and I don't know why, because like the big trucks, the UPS trucks that come in there, it doesn't block them, and they don't go in that garage. They can't fit in there. So why block that off? The next area is the tree roots, again, that I pointed out that they don't want anyone parking there because they can't put the meters in because of the big tree roots. So my argument is just give it to the people for free parking. And I've been going over this for months and months and months without any real, I guess, progress. What they're saying is that for safety issues, they don't want to do that because someone may fall. But that's a load of crap, because they have meters already there where the tree roots are coming up. And as a matter of fact, coming up so big right here where the red car is, you can't even open the passenger door and get out. So what's the difference? Just give it as free parking. As you see right there, there's no way you can open that door and get out on that side. So people know this who park there. So why waste all this space when it's not blocking traffic or anything? So that's my argument, and that's my battle that I keep going with. Now on this one, this is right down the street from where the tree roots are, and it's wide open parking in a residential apartment area, but you can't park there from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now I had a friend who got a ticket there because there was at one time a misleading sign which indicated that you could park there, and we beat that ticket. But as I investigated it, I then talked to the right people, and they said that I need to get a petition to get that changed. Well, the day I go there to change it or get signatures for the petition, I find this. They've already started putting in meters. They don't have the heads in yet, but they're putting in the red. And by the way, that red was too much. It's a whole parking spot. It makes no sense why they're doing this. But nobody has any answers for me as to what's going on. And it's already been 7 months later. I've been fighting this and trying to get this changed. Here are the UPS trucks, and they're always getting the tickets on them. And I argue they're just doing business, just like the post office. They have important deliveries to make. Why ticket them? And I decided to call UPS and contact their home office and talk to them. And this is what they said to me in a letter. UPS does not disclose the information you're requesting. We wish you well with your documentary. So they didn't even want to talk to me about it, and I'm trying to help them out. So, you know, forget it. So here in the mid-Wilshire area of Los Angeles, I got red zones changed back to free parking, and it's represented with the circle with the line through it. Also in Hollywood, I got a couple spots. There's actually a few more, but because of all the construction going on, they had to take that out while they're putting in the high-rise buildings. So here on Gramercy and 8th Street in the Mid-Wilshire area, this was all red, as you can see. And I tried for months to figure out why would this be red. There's plenty of room for cars to be parked there, and here my red car behind this truck clearly shows that you're not blocking traffic or causing anything. Here comes a car now, and as this car comes by, look at that, there's plenty of room. There's no reason for that to be red. So I took that complaint to the city, and of course they agreed with me and changed it back, and I'll show you that here in a moment. But this is repeated all throughout 8th Street, up and down between Western and Crenshaw Boulevard. So all of that, you know, that's room for what, 3-4 more cars. So that's exactly what happened. Now here it is today, same street, Gramercy Drive and 8th Street. So I was able to get that all changed, and there you go, back to gray curb, which means free parking. So, and actually you can fit 3 cars there, 4 actually, but where the spot was red, it was room for 3 cars, as I'm showing you here. You can put one more behind that SUV, which would be 3, but that white one in the front was actually already a spot. So, and then across the street, you could actually fit 4 cars. The 2 vans there, the red one and the gray van, are actually blocking a drive, so that's not counted. So there's 4 spots there. Now we have Norton and 8th Street, and this was all red at one time, and that's all been changed back to gray, free parking. And you know, like I said, I've worked hard on getting those spots back, approximately 34 of them. And this is also repeated in so many different places throughout the city. I'm only one person, so I can't do it all, but I did do my best in the areas that I saw. All of that you're looking at was once red. It's now all back to free parking. That right there alone is like 15 cars. And that's right at the corner of Crenshaw and 8th Street. So, a lot of space there that was wasted. And then I have another area across the street on Crenshaw and 8th that I got changed back also. So it makes a difference. It really, really does. And, you know, dealing with the city had its moments and challenges, but I'm glad that they finally saw. And then this is across from Crenshaw, and that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 cars there now that can park for free. That was once red. All that was red. So a nice accomplishment. And then right here in front of this house or something, I don't know what it was. It was some type of church or something. They have it all red. Where my red car is, that was all red. But you clearly see that there were cars behind it and cars, you know, not sure in front of it, but and definitely behind it that you could park cars, but they had that whole section red. So I got them to change that, and that was another, what, 2 or 3 cars right there. I'd say, what, 1, 2, 3? Yeah, 3 cars. Possibly 4, I guess, depending on the size of the car. But, no, let's just say 3. So here it is today, and it's right across from where the new metro line is going to be. There you go. You see the gray curb. Got it changed back. So it was nice. Nice victory. And it was all due to, you know, my efforts and hard work. So here in Hollywood, on a street called Selma Avenue, just 1 block south of the busy main Hollywood Boulevard, or maybe 2 blocks, I saw all this excessive red curbs. So I called LADOT, and I had a Brandon Wong and Dejanay Williams come out and meet me one day. And they did ask me, I asked them if I could film, and they said that they would not be able to have me film them, so I wasn't able to film it. So anyway, we met, and I showed them this. This is excessive, and they agreed. And they put in work orders for the areas that they felt were also excessive red curbs and changed them back. Now, I still felt there was a lot of excessive curbs that they wouldn't change, like this one, and they said it was for pedestrian crossing. They need a certain amount of feet so that cars could see or the pedestrians could see, etc. I personally, to be honest, didn't feel that way, and I expressed my opinion, but in the end, they have the power, and they're the ones that, you know, decide and so forth. I, you know, just fought for as much as I could to get changed back to free parking. So, but keep in mind now, that this whole area, about 2 weeks after I did this, or they changed those curbs, I was there again looking around, and some construction guys said to me, you know, they were just curious what I was doing, and I explained it to them that I was an activist and that, you know, I've been working with making documentary movies and working with LADOT and stuff on excessive red curves. And they told me that in about 2 more weeks they get ready to start major constructions on these couple block areas, and they're going to be building high-rises, and all this is going to go away anyway. So I don't want to say it was pointless, but right here at the corner of Las Palmas and Selma Avenue was excessive red curve. That I got changed, and that is still right there, been changed to free parking, again right in front of this red truck. That is still there to this day. And then there's like one other spot over across the street, not this area, but across that street directly down. So anyway, you know, that's what happened, and I'll show you that in a moment. You know, all the new, I guess, apartment buildings that they're building. So all of this from there all the way down to Highland Avenue is gone, because they're building like some, you know, whatever, 10-story apartment buildings there. So this is one of the apartment buildings that they're building right there on Selma Avenue. And then the other one, which is closer to Highland Avenue, right here, also is going up. And they're pretty big buildings, and there's a lot of construction there. So that's what it looks like currently as the making of this film. And right here is a spot that I got changed back to free parking, right there, and that's still there. But they still have room for one more car that they could allow there, but they won't, and we go back and forth over that. Right here behind my red car is also another spot that they could allow for one more car, but as I said, they won't. And you can see the bright red there where they kind of recently put that spot in there, and they don't need it. I don't know why they have it. And right here is right after they finished redoing the sidewalks and redesigning the street a little bit. It's excessive red. And right here also. Now I called Brandon Wong again, and we've talked about it, and he agreed that that other spot was excessive, and this one he missed, and I'm having him review it now and to go back and please look at it and change it back to free parking. And that's where we stand now.
Channel 9 News report last night about more parking tickets bringing in more revenue for the city has gotten a quick response tonight at LA City Hall.
One of the leaders of a ballot initiative on parking tickets who appeared in our report last night was called to the mayor's office today to discuss the issues, and changes may be coming. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan live in Studio City. Dave, this is a very important follow-up to your own report of less than 24 hours ago.
That's right, Kent. Some feathers were ruffled, obviously. What happened was we reported, as you mentioned last night, on an item in the Mayor Garcetti's proposed budget that calls for hiring more parking officers to patrol these meters and produce more revenue for the city at the expense of parked motorists. Well, documents today from the mayor's own office confirmed that report, and one of the folks we talked to was summoned to City Hall.
We got a call from the mayor's office and said they wanted to talk to us this afternoon as soon as possible.
The morning after our report on traffic tickets in the city budget, Jay Bieber, one of the leaders of the Los Angeles Parking Freedom Initiative movement, got the call and hustled down to City Hall for an afternoon meeting at the mayor's office with the deputy mayor for the budget and innovation and a room full of mayoral staff members.
We were in there with, I think, about 10, 15 people with all the people in charge of the budget. We were happy to see that. We were happy to see the response. Obviously, this has hit a nerve with the people of Los Angeles, and obviously has hit a nerve at City Hall.
The report Tuesday night and the City Hall meeting that followed focused on the hiring of 50 more parking enforcement officers, which would bring in millions of dollars of additional revenue for a city that's struggling to balance the budget. When I asked the mayor about it Tuesday evening, he brushed it aside. And they looked at the line about how it will bring in $5 million in revenue, so their conclusion is this is being done to help the city balance its budget.
No, I think that was probably a piece of bad reporting. We're not looking to increase revenue from this. In fact, this should be about making sure that businesses get their customers there. I, as mayor, certainly am not looking to this to balance our budget. But to be clear, there are no new parking tickets being raised this year, and we don't have a higher quota. This is just something that's going to continue at the same level this year.
But this city document, a budget supplement called Revenue Outlook, as presented by Mayor Eric Garcetti, makes it clear that hiring more enforcement officers translates into raising more revenue for the city through tickets. It says fiscal year 2014-2015 assumes $2 million in additional revenue from increased collection rate and $3 million from the addition of 50 part-time officers beginning in October. The annual impact of the additional staffing is $4 million. Bieber says tying budget revenue to writing parking tickets has got to stop.
We're going to uncouple from the general fund the fines and fees that come from parking meters. And they thought that was a good idea. We're going to have to try to figure out how to do that because that's about $170 million with everything all together.
Mayor Garcetti released a statement in which he said the additional officers at the Department of Transportation are needed to reduce overtime and maintain a minimum level of operation. This is not about balancing the budget. This represents a mere 37/100,000th of our budget. After the meeting at City Hall, a spokeswoman for the mayor said a working group will, among other things, look at how the ticketing process might be changed through technology. And the fine structure for tickets, she said, could be adjusted as well.
I think that things are going to change. I mean, I'm very confident that things are going to change. I mean, I have to take them at their word when they say that they want to make a difference. They want to have a difference of attitude. They really want to change stuff.
Well, Bieber ought to know he is widely credited with being one of the leading voices in the 2011 campaign to kill the red light cameras. Another successful effort on his part. In Studio City, Dave Bryan, KCAL 9 News.
Pretty interesting news clip there, right? Well, this is Stephen Vincent and Jay Bieber, and I really commend these guys for the work that they've done and the creation of their organization called Los Angeles Parking Freedom Initiative, and where they're trying to get parking tickets capped at $23 and different other things. And I have to be very honest, I don't ever see the city of Los Angeles doing this simply because it's all about money, it's greed. But I wish these guys the best, and I have talked to them a few times through social media and actually on the phone because I wanted to meet these guys and interview them for this movie. It didn't happen. I have been in contact with them, or tried to be in contact with them over the last 6 months. I've not been able to reach either one of them, and I don't know if the Los Angeles Parking Freedom Initiative is still active. It doesn't seem like it is, but at any rate, I still wish them the best. I did meet them here at this meeting in downtown LA with parking enforcement, and they were going over some of their proposals here and so forth, and that was the only time I got to actually meet the guys and be a part of something. I was not able to have a chance to speak. I wish that I did, but didn't happen. Now, back in 2012, I came up with a 10-point change plan called Operation Parking Relief, in which I discussed with the LADOT about things that needs to change. Here's another big problem that I have that I see as a win-win situation for us, the citizens, and the parking enforcement. And that's when cars park their cars too far away from the red right there. See on the corner, if that car would just back up and be within 2 feet of that red curb, and then the next car on the same street on his red, where right here, he's too far away, and that hurts. And they ticket you for being 18 inches away from the curb or in the red. They should do the same thing for these cars because they're hurting other people from being able to park. That's a spot right there, and in between those other spots, when you have people doing that, you lose 2-3 car spots, and that's not fair to us. And one argument that the city gave me that they don't want to do that is because what if a motorcycle was parked back there? Well, I got an answer for you. This is the age of cell phones and cameras. take a picture when you get out of your car if there's a motorcycle there, and then make a website, easily dispute it, to show that if you do issue a ticket for that reason, they can take a picture, send that, download it, and then it can be changed. And you see clearly that there was a motorcycle there. And it's just at the parking enforcer's discretion. But this is obsessive. Look here, this is ridiculous. This car right here is taking up 2 spots. And that's not right. And I feel that what I'm saying is a valid thing. And it could be something else too. So in conclusion, guys, I do want to say that I know I'm hard on the parking enforcement, but it's for a reason. And they do have a legitimate function. It's just a small one in my opinion. Like this case. This nuthead blocks a driveway where these people can't get in and out of their apartment building. And the car wasn't broken or anything. I had to film it because I just couldn't believe it. He did get ticketed and towed. And, you know, I want to say that the movie did not go the way I wanted it to go, but that was because of the bureaucracy of the city. It took 10 months for them to investigate the lady, the parking officer who gave a false ticket. It took 7 months, or it's taken 7 or 8 months for this other area for me to investigate and ask them why they're why they're putting in meters there. 3 months for this, 2 months for that. My own personal issue, I had to stop for a month. The next thing you know, you turn around, it's 2 and 3 years later, and that's literally what has happened. So it's time for me to move on to bigger and better things, and I'm done with it. I've spent 6 years, actually 7, doing all these movies. And my whole point was to bring the awareness to the city of LA and to people about the parking, and that you have to fight to keep your parking free and to reduce, costs and get red zones removed. And my whole big question to the city of LA was this: why are you so hell-bent on not allowing us to park for free? I've never gotten the answer to my question on that, so that's the way it ends, I guess. Thank you all for watching Parking Tyranny 2 and Parking Tyranny 1. I do want to thank those LADOT workers that I've worked with, and I know I bothered them so much, but it was all for a reason. And thanks everybody again, and all of these guys here who put up with me for over the last couple years I've been making this movie. Thanks again. Take care.